My wife and I have been together for 7 years, married 4. We have a great marriage and 2 children, 3 boys and 2 girls. We were each other's one and only sexual partner. Last week, she ended up going home with a co-worker on Friday night, lying and saying it was a work function. Specifically, she texted me around 7:30 that a work function suddenly came up, and she has to go. I was a bit pissed since we planned to watch a movie at home, and she canceled without notice, but I saw no reason to mistrust her. She said she would be back by 9:30 and I was okay with that. Then she ends up coming back at 11:30 in hysterics. She's crying and mumbling and admits she slept with her coworker. Lots of anger and crying on my end, and we spent the whole night discussing it. She said that her coworker, a younger guy who had been flirting with her for weeks, very persistently. She did not tell me about this, her reasoning being that it would have never led to something anyway, and showered her with compliments, finally broke down her barriers, and they had sex at his place 3 times in 2 hours. She said she felt like she missed out on something by only being with one sexual partner. So did I, but I didn't cheat, and wasn't thinking rationally. She said she got caught up in the moment, for weeks it seems, and she never planned to cheat on me. She said being treated like a SXY desirable woman by a young handsome guy only clouded her thinking further. I'm not so sure what she means by this since we have plenty of sex, at least 3 times a week, as well as frequent date nights. I asked her to show me her phone, email and media right there, and there's no sign of him at all. They never spoke outside of work. I thought she might be lying and covering her tracks, but I verified this in the following days and contacted my service provider and used a tax recovery program, and they never had any contact outside of work. My wife is saying it was a one-time mistake and will never happen again. She decided to quit work, handed in her notice already and also out of the coworker due to the no fraternization policy, and is searching for another job. She also promised to give me complete open access to all her media whenever I want and is pretty much begging me not to leave her. She has apologized and shed more tears than can be counted in numbers. I wanted to stay away from her for a while, but my kids need me, so I told her to give me my space in the house while I think things through. My wife wants to do couples counseling and therapy and wants to pay for it herself, so as not to burden me. She's taking full blame for the cheating and assures me I did not contribute to it at all. I never thought I would be the type to consider forgiving cheating. I always thought I would steel myself and go no contact without a second's hesitation. I'm trying to determine the pros and cons of this. Pros: 1. She confessed immediately and with full honesty, answering all of my questions truthfully. 2. She's quitting her job and completely separating from this guy. 3. She's giving me full access to her media. 4. She's taking full blame and responsibility for cheating. 5. She is genuinely remorseful. I know this for a fact. 6. She's using her own disposable income to pay for counseling and therapy. 7. Apparently a marriage can become stronger after infidelity. Not sure if this is true, but I doubt it. The possibility is there, I suppose. I really do love my wife beyond measure, and can't imagine loving another woman or having another woman be the mother of my children. Cons: 1. She cheated on me. We have kids, and she actually cheated. 2. She lied to me about this work function bullshit. She deliberately texted me a lie to cover for her getting pounded by the coworker. 3. She admits that the sex was mind-blowing and she enjoyed it immensely. 4. She never told me about the flirting, even as it went on for weeks. 5. She wasn't drunk. She willingly and intentionally had sex with him. This one hurts a lot, since she decided to forsake our family just for a few hours with a coworker. 6. Trust will take a very, very long time to rebuild, if at all. I don't know if I want to invest years into trying to repair what might be fundamentally broken. 7. I fear her cheating may have permanently destroyed any potential intimacy with my wife. Just seeing her or thinking of her conjures images of her getting pounded by the other guy, and it would be impossible to not think of such things during intimacy. 8. I have lost a huge amount of respect for her. I doubt I have any left. Our marriage and children apparently meant so little to her that she chose the guy's meat over them. Also, all it took to get her to throw away all notions of fidelity and loyalty were a few weeks of flirting and compliment. I thought my wife had a modicum of self-control and dignity, but it appears I'm wrong about this. What do I do, kids? Try to work through this, or just say screw it and move on? For the latter, I can be a vengeful Chillingsworth-like bastard, so I would probably pretend to forgive her while secretly making moves to get a favorable divorce settlement for myself. It's probably just fantasy, but I'll be D-Ned if I don't try my hardest to not get screwed out of everything I worked so hard to achieve the last 10 years. If there are any pros and cons I missed, please mention them. TLDR. Wife cheated? Don't know if I should forgive her or not. I'll start with a brief breakdown, and if people want details, I'll fill in the blanks. Me and my ex were dating for approximately 3 years on and off. We had some issues here and there, but always managed to move past them. Last week, she went on vacation with one of her extremely promiscuous friends to see another friend that lives in their destination city. I wasn't extremely happy about it because I knew her friend was going to influence her to do things she knows I don't find appropriate. Drugs, drinking all night every night. Before she left, I simply asked her, when you go, don't get sloshed. Just drink enough to get a buzz and have fun, but still know what's going on around you. 1. You don't know anybody there. 2. People have bad intentions when it comes to drunk girls. 3. She doesn't really pay attention to her behavior when she's trashed. Given I do so much for this girl, you name it, drive her places, pay for everything, put up with her tantrums, love her unconditionally, I figured she'd have enough respect for me to adhere to my simple requests. The first night she got so drunk, she went to nap in her friend's car. The next night, she drunk texted me at 4:30 a.m. absolutely demolished. Naturally, I was upset and asked her if this is going to be an every night thing. She said I was badgering her and being controlling. I told her that I'd prefer she call me in the morning or at night when she got home and just ask how my day was or tell me about her day or what she has planned for the day, etc. A normal and basic concept of respect for the person you're dating. At least in my opinion. She got pissed and we didn't talk much for the rest of her trip with the exception of a message or two here and there, or a quick call. Fast forward to Tuesday when she returns, she tells me she's going to the bar with her friends. I said, you just came back from partying for a week and you don't want to see me. You'd rather go to the bar again. She said, we'll talk tomorrow. I said, fine. She came by to pick up her house keys for me the next day. And I asked her why her friend was still outside and she said she's going to be driving her home then to work. I said, I can do that. And she can send her friend home. The SHTTY one she went on vacation with. She said she didn't want to talk and was fed up with the relationship, calling me insecure and jealous and immature, etc. I said, fine then. See you later. This was Wednesday. I was getting suspicious. And this is where my detective skills came into play. I checked her Instagram and saw this one guy just started following her that morning. And she was following him back. They were both in that city at the same time. Not sure if he lives there. And I checked to see if he was following her two other friends she was with, and he was not. Let's call him Bixby. More on this later. Thursday comes around, and I woke up really early. For me, as I work afternoon shifts, around 9:30. I called her around 10:30 asking if we can go grab breakfast and talk. She said sure, but then proceeded to yell at me on the phone while I was driving there, saying she doesn't want to be with me, and that she's trying to rip the band-aid off, and I won't let her, and that this hurts her too. I said I'm on my way. We'll talk in person. She was being cold and standoffish, and her mother came back from grocery shopping. So we all talked for a few minutes before my ex started yelling again. And her mom said to me, just talk later when you guys have had a chance to relax. I said sure, and left for work. She calls me 5 minutes later saying how I created a big fight between her and her mom. And my response was, maybe it's because you're inconsiderate and unreasonable and your mom's not. Some SHT probably happened on vacation and now you're starting SHT for no reason. Who is Bixby? She started playing stupid. Who? Bixby. Bixby. Then hung up the phone. Right after she hung up the phone, she blocked me on Instagram. She then messages me saying, I have to work. We'll talk later. She messaged me later saying, listen, if you want to talk, let's talk tonight. I don't want you losing sleep over this crap. I simply asked again, who is Bixby? She said someone she met on the trip and bonded with. I asked bonded in what way? She said, they started talking and ended up kissing, and then she realizes she was acting cowardly by acting like it never happened. Once I heard that, I blocked her on WhatsApp and Facebook. She tried calling me from her work phone, and I ignored and blocked the number. Then she texted me and I blocked her number. Now I questions to you all. 1. Who else believes it was just kissing? I don't, but I'd love to hear your opinions. 2. Have any of you been cheated on, stayed with a person and had it become a great, long-lasting relationship? 3. Am I completely bonkers for even giving a crap about this girl still? 4. Any other input you have, I'd love to hear it. TLDR, girlfriend cheated on vacation, not sure what to feel or do. I blocked her on everything and ignored her the one time she's tried to contact me last week. It's tough, but I am already feeling better about myself because I've decided to retain whatever dignity and self-respect I have left. Next story. We've been together 11 years, married for 1, beginning of December, 3 beautiful young children. Life was good. I'd been working away for 3 years, but was always home on a weekend or had a long weekend, Thursday to Monday, thought everything was going well. In April, I started to see some cracks at home with the missus not coping with 3 young kids. Understandable, so I looked at alternative roles nearer to home. And at the beginning of October, I was able to come home to a role that suited us all. 3 days after I started my new job, she went on holiday to Vegas with the girls for 5 nights, Thursday to Tuesday. We talked every day, full time with the kids, and she seemed to be having a fabulous time. I was so chuffed for her having a blast as she needed it. On Saturday night, I had a strange feeling about her, but we'd spoken, and all seemed fine, so I tried to disregard it. However, it didn't actually go away. She got home Tuesday morning and I was at work. I finished normal time and got home as quick as I could, but the sad feeling was still there, so I wasn't sure what I was walking into. We kissed, hugged, but she felt distant. Probably the jet lag and the holiday come down. Kids went to bed and we talked about Vegas. She gave me a breakdown, version 0, and we went to bed. She woke me up in floods of tears on Wednesday morning. 1 a.m., version 1, had said she'd been tempted in Vegas by a guy who had given her some attention. Wanted to kiss him, have sex, but she didn't. She had wrestled with this dilemma on Saturday night. So that's why I felt something. But this means she isn't happy at home, and isn't sure she wants to be with me. She did nothing but chat, WhatsApp, with this person. I was shocked, stunned, floored, expected it to be holiday blues, so persevered in this limbo. She told some friends, I told 2 of mine, all of whom were in shock, so out of character for her. After 2 weeks and lots of talking, she said she wanted to work out why she was unhappy and rebuild the relationship. But something wasn't right with her story as far as I was concerned. If she had wrestled with having feelings for this guy, why did she message him on the Sunday asking to meet for a drink? She knew it was wrong, hence the wrestling. As far as I'm concerned, she picked him over me and her family. Cheating is simply not acceptable, as she had been cheated on in her first marriage for 2 months. I questioned her about her story, trying to make it make sense, but it never did. Her story arrived on Thursday, met him on Friday, swapped numbers as his friend had cracked on with her friend, but her friend didn't have roaming. Bits of communication on Saturday for her friend and his to meet up. Sunday, messaged him to meet them for a drink as he was in his hotel room alone. He didn't reply. There was more to the story, and I got to the breaking point. Told her, if that story is accurate, then I don't believe her, and we can't be together if I think she's lying. She went for a drive, came back and asked me what I wanted to know. I told her everything. Version 2 arrived Thursday, met him on Friday, drinking all afternoon. He joined them for a Lionel Richie concert. This is new. Previously, only her friend's guy had been there. All 4 girls and the 2 guys went back to the guy's hotel room. Guy asked to kiss her again. She said no, but she wanted to. She hears her friend having sex in the bedroom, and leaves because it got to be much for her. The other 2 girls stayed drinking, tossed and turned on Friday night over the fact that the feelings were even there for another man. Saturday, regular communications throughout the day. But the girls had plans, so it was just conversation. Girls went out Saturday night to a club, but jet lag had kicked in for her, so she went to bed. Her guy was messaging her, but she was sleeping. She woke about 2 a.m., saw his message, and he was in the casino downstairs, so she went down to meet him. Stayed for a couple hours, laughing, joking, arms round each other. Sunday, regular communication with him again, towards the end of the day. Invited him for a drink, as she knew he was in hotel room alone. No response. Monday, he suggested they delete numbers and leave it alone. She didn't want to though, so, with version 2 out of the way, it made more sense. This is plausible. She was having a holiday romance, but I still didn't feel like it was all out there. However, I was able to deal with version 2. I could process that, and it wasn't pretty, but it was bearable. A week later, I sent her a message while I was at work. He lied repeatedly to me. He didn't go to Lionel with you. You didn't go to his hotel room. You didn't spend any one-on-one time together. I tell you everything whether you like it or not. If you can't do the same to me, then we can't continue. I get home. We are chilling on the sofa, and she asks why I sent her the message. I told her why. We need to be able to talk and we always have done so. This is no different. Let me make a decision. Don't try and control my life by lying to me. I don't do that to you. She tells me there's more. Version 3. The same as version 2. But after their meal on Sunday, the girls went back to their hotel room to pack. She tells the girl she's going to say bye to him and goes to his hotel room. They start talking, then start kissing. Things get hot quickly. Her dress comes up and her knickers come down. He starts feeling her up, but then she gets a sudden flash of clarity and tells him to stop, says bye and leaves, goes back to her hotel room and throws up, disgusted with herself. The whole ordeal took about 15 minutes. I'd always suspected the kissing, but not the knickers down. I have to graft for sex, and here she is giving it away to the first guy who says she looks fit. I am devastated. She wanted to have sex with this guy on Friday, but on Sunday night she was prepared to do it. She lied repeatedly. Has been putting on a front that I could easily see through. It's so out of character. No one knows about version 3, apart from you, as it would kill off any friends she has. They would be absolutely disgusted by her. Some of them are already, and they only know about version 1. Version 3 was confessed a week ago today. Some moments I am okay with it, but others I can't look at her. She has said sorry, but the icing on the cake is we found out she's going through menopause, so her emotions are all over the place. I know she's sorry, but she isn't showing me. I know she doesn't expect me to stay with her as she wouldn't if I had done this. My body betrays me as I still find her attractive, and I still want to have sex with her. We had been having some sex between October and last week anyway, but she did feel like I was holding back. At this point, I think it's forgivable, and I actually want to forgive her, as it's so out of character, and menopause does mess up things with your libido and hormones. But I'm scared about being vulnerable with her again. Any advice appreciated. TLDR. Wife found out she was unhappy in Vegas when a guy asked if he could kiss her. She ended up getting felt up and now feels disgusting, and I don't know what to do for the best. After modified intercourse, she told him to put on a condom, pushed him onto the bed, and climbed on top. She got on top of him and they went at it. After a brief period, she thought to herself, what the hell am I doing? Got off of him, put her knickers back on and left. Went back to her hotel room and threw up. She finally confessed to this on New Year's Eve. We said we'd try and work it out, attended some couples counseling, but certain mundane things triggered the thoughts of her with another man, and it simply got too much for me. As of this evening, we agreed to end it as we simply aren't happy. We'll continue living together for the time being due to finances, but in a couple months we'll part ways. It's not what I wanted, but I couldn't afford to be unhappy and uncomfortable. I feel better, but empty now, so my username is pretty appropriate again. It hasn't affected my desire for the love and affection of a good woman or my desire to give love and affection to a good woman. SHT happens sometimes, just need to power through.